The end is finally here for De'Aaron Fox, man, and it is one of the saddest things that if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, you just can't catch a break. Like if you were a fan up until let's say like you was born in the 1990s, you had to go through some struggle. The best chance you had was when you guys went against the Lakers and got robbed. And then ever since then, you just had the most incompetent front office you possibly ever could have. And honestly, probably most people who live in Sacramento forgot that they had a team. They probably forgot that they had a basketball team that they could go to games because for the longest, they wasn't having much people go to their games. Their attendance was really low, amongst one of the lowest in the league. But when you had at least a spark plug, a semblance of hope with them drafting one of their first good draft picks in decades with De'Aaron Fox, you're like, okay, cool, we can probably do something here. But unfortunately, the Sacramento Kings shows us what they always really are, and that is a criminal organization. This organization has shown year after year after year that they don't care about winning. They don't care about any of that. Really, it's all just how much can we suck to at least still bring fans to the stadium? And that's it. We can feign like we're going to win and do things here and there and anything like that. But the reality is they don't care about winning. They don't care about making moves to actually get people to come to their team and do great things. I mean, just look at how when they first drafted De'Aaron Fox and how De'Aaron Fox needed a lot of help. But you know what category that he did not need help in? The guards. And so for him, it was kind of weird that you guys drafted Tyrese Halliburton, which Tyrese Halliburton is a great guard. He is a pretty good guard. He's one of the, premier point guards. But you have two point guards on the team, and they both kind of play differently. And then when you think of matchup wise, how are you going to put them side by side if they can't both guard players at the same time? They can't be on the same court because they're not the greatest defensively. And you kind of are asking them to play different roles offensively, where you want Tyrese to be more of the point guard and De'Aaron Fox to be more of the shooting guard. But De'Aaron Fox can kind of do both. But after that, they didn't really have anybody. They drafted Bagley, and he didn't really work out, even though I was extremely surprised and disappointed that he didn't work out. But hey, we're talking about the Sacramento Kings, and so, what more can be said on that? He didn't work out, and the best thing that they got was when they traded Tyrese Halliburton and got Domantas Sabonis. I mean, Domantas Sabonis is one of the best bigs in the NBA, one of the most underrated bigs in the NBA. Many people don't really care about the stats that he put up. A lot of people think it's empty stats. I would disagree. I think he's pretty good. He just needs to get a more consistent jumper, which he has been working on, so shout out to him. But even still, it's kind of like a little bit too late because when you were messing around drafting all these guards like Gary Trent Jr. and some other people, you kind of forgot, okay, we need some wings, we need some forwards, we need some bigs, we need somebody to actually build around this guy. And they started to do it in the last couple of years, but you can't seriously vie for a championship if you're just now drafting. This guy's within, his fifth, sixth year in the NBA. He wants to win, and he doesn't like having losing seasons. And unfortunately, he was drafted into an organization that kind of does not care about whether or not they win or lose. I mean, just think about it. The last, 20 years, have you really even thought about the Sacramento Kings as being a legitimate contender for a championship, let alone even having them make the playoffs and getting out the first round? Absolutely not. Many people thought, okay, we got Sacramento on the calendar. Oh, it's time for an easy win. We can wait, we can save and watch that game back at home and chill on our couch and maybe watch it on League Pass if we have League Pass, if you can afford League Pass. But for the most part, nobody really cared about them. And De'Aaron Fox gave us something to look at. And they, like I said before, they tried to build around De'Aaron Fox. So as much as I want to give them flack, they did try. They did get Davion Mitchell. They did get Harrison Barnes. They got a few pieces like Keegan Murray, and just like a bunch of good enough guards and good enough fours and decent enough centers that you can make them competitive. But outside of that, there's really not much there. And then when you combine the fact that they had a great coach and you kind of fire him for no reason, you're just like, wow, what do you want? What do you want them to do? Even if, because De'Aaron Fox came out and say that, hey, I did not get my coach fired, which who knows? At the end of the day, it does come down to lack of effort. So you might not have vocally said something, but if you look at the film, their defense was super lackluster. I mean, you only have Davion Mitchell that was actually doing something. And outside of that, and then of course Domantas Sabonis was pretty good too. But outside of that, like there's just a questionable lack of effort, and we don't need to even talk about Malik Monk and how he just simply just does not care about playing basketball on the defensive end, and he's extremely lazy, takes a lot of risk when he doesn't need to take a lot of risk. And I hate watching him play because he is a pretty good guy on the offensive end, and he's probably like a really good locker room presence guy. I don't really hear anything negative about Malik Monk, but when you look at his game, when you watch how he plays the game, you can see that he is, typically a lazy guy. But this is all to say that, well, these are things that can be worked out on. And if you back up your head coach who is consistently trying to get the most out of their players, well, then you have a good recipe regardless if you guys are going to go to the championship or not. But I do believe that the firing of Mike Brown was probably the last straw for De'Aaron Fox. Now, like I said, I don't know whether or not he's telling the truth of whether or not he got his coach fired, whether it be through his play, lack of defense, or just him vocalizing to the top management. We don't know. He said he didn't, so I'll just take his word for it. But when you had a coach who was aggressively trying to get this team to win, aggressively trying to get this team to be the best possible version that they can be, and then you fire them because you guys are having a terrible start, not because of just coaching or anything like that, but simply because the players are not trying hard enough, I cannot explain to you how much I hate that. I hate that because you do not have the luxury of always getting great coaches in the league. Great coaches in the league come at a very bare minimum basis. And when you do have a great coach, sometimes they get fired fairly quickly, way too quickly. Now, he has said that there was 3 destinations that he wants to go to. And out of those 3 destinations, there's really only one that I will legitimately believe that he will be a really good fit in. And that is the San Antonio Spurs, because there is one guy out there, the alien people call him, that is just astronomically great generational talent. Now, I know that the Houston Rockets is like 32-14, something crazy like that, because they're just firing all cylinders. But the reason why I don't think he should go there is because of how well they're gelling right now. Now, do they need one more piece? Yes. But is that piece going to be a point guard? I don't think so. I know they got Fred VanVleet over there to be the veteran presence for them. But outside of that, I think they're really guard heavy. I think they really need to get more into the center and power forward roles, but that's something that De'Aaron Fox simply cannot fulfill for them. But you know what team that he could really be a rock star for? The San Antonio Spurs. Now, Chris Paul, he's on his last legs of his career. I would not doubt that he would take the bench role if De'Aaron Fox were to go to the San Antonio Spurs, okay? I do believe that he is too unselfish for him to not see the bigger picture and play the veteran/uncle role on the team, kind of like the Udonis Haslem for the San Antonio Spurs, and watch how electrifying having Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox on the fast break. That is something that you probably can only see in a flash because of how fast De'Aaron Fox moves. And so imagining that pick and roll and how quick they are, that just puts the defense in a bind. And right now, the San Antonio Spurs has decent enough players around them where they can actually build up. Now, they still, like I said, this is still more of a project for the San Antonio Spurs because they don't have everything, but they have enough to build. But they do need to get more within free agency in order for them to actually seriously win for a championship. Now, if it's not going to be for a championship for the next couple of years for De'Aaron Fox, I 100% understand why he would go here. But if it is, well, then the best possible spot that he should go to is probably the Lakers. But I doubt that he will go to the Lakers because of the circus show that is happening right now. And honestly, even if he were to go to the Lakers, you can only go so far as Anthony Davis, regardless who's on the team. You can have an all-star team, right? It would take an upheaval amount of talent to overcome Anthony Davis and his shortcomings. Now, Anthony Davis is having a great year, no doubt, absolutely no doubt. But his injury-prone nature of his game can really make you worry on whether or not he's going to be good enough for the playoffs. And the Lakers are in a decent-ish spot around like the 4th to 5th to maybe even 6th seed. You know, if they were to end the season around now, they are good enough to kind of like just make it there. But with De'Aaron Fox on that team, would he be able to take them over the hump if Anthony Davis does not have a good series? I don't think so. So that's why I'm saying, hey, let him go to the San Antonio Spurs. Let them get somebody. Maybe they have to get rid of Cassell or somebody. Who knows? But let that be the trade. Let that be something that is for his future, because I believe that that franchise, albeit the best of that was happening with Kawhi Leonard, is a pretty good franchise for him. But this would never be able to happen if it wasn't for the fact that the Sacramento Kings as an organization is so laughably bad, so laughably incompetent, that they're able to just destroy something that they built up for like the last 6 years with all just a snap of a finger, because they just simply failed to be a serious organization where they wanted to actually win. And that's why they're just simply a criminal organization, and that fans over there should just do something to boycott something, protest, say that you guys aren't going to get our money because you guys have been terrorizing us, have been subjecting us to bad basketball for decades, for years, and you gave us this one semblance of hope only for you to take it away.